Why, hello there. It is Friday, 1 week until Christmas. And the fact that I'm here on Friday means I'm not going camping. I know I'm a little disappointed, but the weather was supposed to start raining around 9 p.m. my time today or tonight. It won't let up until 9 a.m. tomorrow. And most of that rain was going to be thunderstorms. And since I have a dog and he goes out camping with me, he really doesn't like thunderstorms, and when he's protected around the house, he always snuggles real close up to me. So I'm not going to do that to him out in, with no protection since I'm sleeping in a hammock. So I'm going to make a video, and oh boy, is this going to be glorious. Well, I don't know if the video is going to be glorious, but I feel glorious on the Twitter's responses. I may or may not show them, but the Build Back Better bill is pretty much dead. That's right. And Twitter doesn't know government. I might get to that later on, or I might not. But according to the CNBC News, it's not just Joe Manchin. Here's what stands in the way of the Democrats passing Biden's social spending bill. I think a lot of that social spending bill should come from the state and possibly the city. But there's some good things in the bill and some terrible things and some, who cares. Democrats acknowledge that the Senate will not vote on the $1.75 trillion Build Back Better Act this year. To pass Joe Biden's signature social climate policy legislation, Democrats will need to win over their own Senator Joe Manchin, who has raised a range of concerns with the bill. One of the obstacles includes the Senate parliamentarian, the expert of rules and order, and dispute over the state and local tax deduction cap. President Joe Biden's top priority is in limbo. Oh well. The Senate Democrats acknowledge that they will not try to pass Biden's House approved $1.75 trillion social and climate policy legislation this year. In the meantime, they will have to resolve a range of lingering disputes that have flummoxed for the party for months. On Friday, the Senator Majority Leader, crying Chuck Schumer, said Biden's requested more time to continue his negotiation around the plan. So we will keep working with him hand in hand to bring this bill over the finish line. I do not want this bill to be over the finish line. I want it to be dead. The reason why I want it to be dead, because within the last 2 years, 40% of our money supply has been created. That's going to cause inflation. And if we don't get inflation under control now, it's going to be an issue down the road, and we're going to start seeing $5, $6 gallon per gas, which is going to drive up costs of everything else. The New York Democrat wanted to pass legislation before Christmas. Hopefully we could push this until next Christmas. That way we get a new Senate, a new House, and we could kill this bill. Biden indicated Thursday night that the vote wouldn't take place until January. At the earliest, he said Democrats will advance this work together over the days and weeks ahead, and that he and Schumer are determined to see the bill successful on the floor as early as possible. Many Democrats see the legislation as key to boosting worker families and showing voters that they can govern before the 2022 midterms. But to check this top priority off of their list, they needed to resolve the following outstanding issues. The party has not won over Senator Joe Manchin or the other Republicans, a conservative Democrat from West Virginia. In the 50-50 Senate, he can sink the bill on his own because every Republican opposes it. I mean, there's probably a few Republicans you can win over, like Mitch McConnell or Mitch Montgomery, whatever his name is. Yeah, you know, the loser that ran for president during Obama's second term. Manchin drove Democrats to cut the bill's price tag in half to $1.75 trillion and expressed concerns over spending and inflation, which is definitely true. The Senate has denied reports that he opposes the one-year extension to the enhanced child tax credit, a piece in the House bill passed by the Democrats view as a critical to reducing child poverty. I know one way to reduce child poverty, and that is to get the private sector involved and actually hire these people, get it to where people are off of welfare, and maybe extend their benefits for a month once they actually get a job. That way they're not missing a paycheck, and we can actually create a middle class. The straightened child tax credit passed earlier this year expires at the end of the month. Manchin has criticized his party for using 10 years of revenue-raising measures to fund a bundle of programs, in some cases, lasts just a few years or less. To change to structure could require a massive rewrite of the bill. Biden and Manchin held talks this week on the matter, and the president says Thursday that those discussions will continue next week. Appeasing Manchin alone will not get the job done for Democrats. We will also need to keep centrist Senator Christine Sima of Arizona happy. She favors a more clean energy program than Manchin and opposes the hike in corporate tax rate. That's right, when you tax corporations too much, they stop hiring and they tend to move out of the country, which means it's removing money from the United States tax revenue, which will also cause inflation. Yay. If the Senate makes any changes to the bill in legislation, we'll have to go back to the House for another vote, which could be problematic if progressives over there feel too many concessions have been made to Manchin and Sima. Speaker Nancy Pelosi can only afford to lose 3 Democrat votes. The Senate parliamentarian, or whatever this word is, parliamentarian, which is a position I never heard of until recently. I don't know if this was something standard or is just now making headlines because both parties agreed on the rules, and now that both parties don't agree on the rules, this position is coming more into the limelight. That could be the case. It's most likely the case. I've just never heard of it. The expert in rules and order also has made a final ruling on what Democrats can include in their bill under the budget reconciliation process, which is pretty much the nuclear option, which only requires a majority, which allows them to bypass GOP oppositions to the plan. The party had one setback on Thursday when the parliamentarian ruled that it could not include limited legal protection for millions of undocumented immigrants into the bill. Because, that is something that we really need to address, is certain protections for dreamers and even immigrants. This is really for millions of illegal immigrants and not just undocumented, because if they were undocumented, you would just document them and they're no longer an issue. These are people crossing the border or overstaying their visa, making them an illegal alien opposed to a legal alien, which have the legality of them being here with no issues. In the joint statement, Thursday, Schumer and 5 other Democratic senators said that they will pursue every means to achieve the path to citizenship in BuildBackBetter Act, which, this is why I hate the Senate, this is why I hate the House, this is why I hate politics. You can never have a clean bill. You have to have riders into the bill or the pork into the bill, because the item itself cannot stand on its own, so they try to put it into something that will have every chance to vote on, and this is why you get certain things. They're not necessarily beneficial to the country, get into bills and become law because they are required, because you got politicians playing dirty. Democrats still have to craft a compromise over state and local deductions. The House lifted the cap on those deductions to 80,000 from 10,000 as part of the division of the bill. Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont, among others, have looked for a way to revisit the policy, which is currently disproportionately benefiting the wealthy taxpayers, which is not true. I mean, the reason why they're saying that it benefits the wealthy taxpayers, so let's say you're Elon Musk, you have four companies that you're a CEO of, and you're paying Social Security tax, you're paying payroll tax, you're paying Medicaid, Medicare tax, and along some other business tax, which if you were to remove those and call everything income, he'll be paying about the same as we do, but since he has those, he's paying closer to 50 to 60% because his wealth is tied into his business, which you want companies to pay those taxes because that's going to be the bulk of your taxes. But apparently some people that are millionaires don't like the fact that there's billionaires and trillionaires. And Bernie actually used to say millionaires until he became one. I think he has 3 or 4 houses. So maybe we should look into his tax records to see why he has those many houses. Clearly, if he has that many houses, he has too much money, according to his own standards. But for us right now, the Build Back Better, maybe not dead, but Twitter does not know government because they say that the 51 senators that voted against this bill only represent anywhere between 35 to 40% of the country, and we live in a democracy where the majority gets to pick the rules. But however, we are not a democracy, we are a republic, and within the Senate portion of Congress, the majority of the votes were of senators, which every state gets 2. So we have 50 Republicans and really 49 Democrats and 1 independent, but he's saying he's a Democrat to keep the even split, which is Bernie Sanders. So we got a 50-50 split, which is the way that the Senate was designed. So even the smaller states and population still has a voice. Now, when you go to the House of Representatives, that is strictly on population. And that's why you got states like California that have 53 members of the House of Representation, plus 2 more, which gives them a vote of 55 votes between the 2 houses. Now, even then, they're going to do a little bit step further and do mental gymnastics, saying that the people that are being representative are less in California because the population is X, and the population, let's say, in Montana is Y, which means the electoral representation is a lot less in California, which, no one's preventing those people from staying in California. They can move to some of the rural areas and build up their population to make it fair, but they would rather bitch and moan over things that they can't control and destroy the fabric of America and change it to an actual democracy where all you do need is a simple majority, which is terrible. I have issues with Democrats. It's just, I'm anti-Democrat because they bitch and moan when they don't get their way and they gloat when they win. They're just sore people. Anyways, leave a comment down below. Smash the like and subscribe button on any and all platforms, or just the platform that you're currently on. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful weekend. If you could get outside, enjoy nature, remove yourself from the technology callers, leave your phone somewhere, and just enjoy life. And remember, next week is Christmas.